Hey guys, it's Pete Ristow with UpLync Communications. So I'm going to tell you a story this time around. A story that my dad used to tell me when I was younger. And the story is, we're going to call it the hole in the road story. So imagine that you're walking. You're walking down this dusty, bumpy road. It's not a particularly wide road. It's not a particularly well traveled road. But you also know that this road leads to a goal, to success, whatever you want to call that, right? And then as you're walking down that road, you suddenly come to a crossroads, and at that crossroads, you can see in the distance this shiny thing that you gotta have. And in this story, my dad used to make that be different things based on the context of the story. So in this instance, we're just going to call it the shiny thing. So you see the shiny thing, you need the shiny thing. So you start running off your road towards the shiny thing into uncharted territory, right? And suddenly, boom, you're down in a hole. You trip, you fall, there's this huge hole in the road. You didn't even see it, and suddenly you're down there. And now you have to figure out how to get out. You have to figure out after you get out, how do you get clean? How do you get back to where you needed to be? How do you do whatever you needed to do to get back on the road you were on? And so you figure that out and you're plodding along, moving along, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's that shiny thing again, and there's that road again, but this time I know there's a hole there, so I need to be careful. So I try to move just right and shimmy myself around this hole, and then I slip, fall in the hole again. Here we go. And so then you continue to move along, and you get yourself out, you get back on the road, you keep trucking, you got yourself straightened out, you're ready to go. And then the next time you see that shiny thing, you think again, oh, there it is, and same thing happens again, right? The whole time you were on your road, you knew that was successful. You knew that you knew where you were going, you knew what your goal was, you knew what the end destination was, but you kept getting distracted by the shiny thing, right? And that's kind of what's at the core of this story is knowing knowing what you need to do, knowing what you're good at, knowing your lane, for lack of a better way of saying it, and not being distracted by the shiny things. So I tell you that story to kind of switch gears a little bit, because this story came to mind recently again when I was working with a particular prospect. Now I've had enough experiences chasing this kind of prospect to know what I was doing, but that doesn't necessarily prevent us from chasing the shiny thing. This prospect was a very big prospect. It was an exciting prospect. It was new territory for us. I was particularly excited about it. Um, and when we sat down face to face, I kind of got that gut feeling that most salespeople get, especially after they've had some experience, where you just know something's not quite right. You know, and surprise, this deal didn't go through. Spoiler, the deal didn't go through. And initially, I was really, really upset about it. To me, it was like, well, shoot. And looking back on it now, I can be thankful that this probably would have been a hole in the road kind of deal. We as a company probably would have ended up, I mean, it probably would have been a nightmare for our support staff to keep up with this particular prospect. It probably would have ended up sucking up a ton of resources and just killing profitability overall. So after giving it some thought and kind of realizing it, it doesn't feel good to lose that kind of opportunity. Um, but I remembered my dad's story, and I was thankful that it didn't work out. This was definitely a hole in the road kind of deal. And so I have a lot to be thankful for. I know around this time of year, we all start to think about, things that we're thankful for, things that we're grateful for. And this year, we tend to focus on like the positives, for lack of a better way of saying it. We tend to focus on like the wins, the exciting new things that we accomplished over the year, or the cool things that happened, or where we landed in life and those kind of things. That's kind of what we tend to think about this time of year. But this year, I'm really thankful for some of the things that didn't happen. I'm really thankful for some of the losses this year because, like, in your career, in your job, whatever you want it to be, if you don't lose, you don't learn anything. If you don't lose, you don't know. You can't really. It's harder to identify what you did wrong because you're not taking a critical eye to certain things. And so this year, I want to be thankful for the losses, and I want to be thankful that things didn't happen because I learned things. I grew as a person, um, and I think that that's really great. So that got a little deeper than I expected it to. But I'm going to leave you all with a happy Thanksgiving. We're you could. I'm saying thank you to all of our customers, everybody that supported us over the last few years. Everybody at UpLync here is undyingly grateful to you for the business that you've given us or the ways that you've supported us over the last however long it's been now. It's been a while. So thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. This is Pete Ristow with UpLync Communications.